Hello student, today we are going to study NCERT class 10th History Chapter 1 The Rise of Nationalism in Europe. Now again you are thinking that in the in the class 10 we come, now we have to again read the history. Yes, you have to read the history because from the class 6, 7, 8, 9, now in 10th you have reading the history. So earlier in 6th you have read about the ancient history, in the 7th you read about the medieval history, in 8th you read about the modern history, but in ninth you have read about the world history. So same in the class 10th you are also deals with the world history, but in this second part. In ninth you deals with the first part of the world history. Now in this class you also deals with the world history, but it is the second part. So first chapter start with the rise of nationalism in Europe. So in Europe there are the number of countries where they how they used to did the you can say the reforms, the revolution to rise the nationalism, because earlier in the Europe the number of the you can say the countries which are ruled by, or you can say which are the conquered by the kings. So they used to rule over there, and they used to do a monarchical system, they used to follow it. So how the people used to fight for it, for the freedom, for the nationalism. So these are the certain things which we are going to deal with in this chapter, like how the people used to come, how they used to do the reforms, how they started the initiative by which the number of the people used to enroll in there, and they used to start fighting for their nationalism. So first is start with the French, which you have already read in the previous class, in class 9, about the French Revolution. How the people used to start the revolution against the royalty people, because the most of the tax was levied on the third estate people rather than the first estate or second estate people. Over the period of time, whosoever the revolutionary used to come, if we talk about the Raspberry or the Jacobin government, so they come over there, they make their they make their constitution. First is for the monarchical, you can see the monarchical government, under which they make the constitution. Then later on they make the constitution under the republic. So how the rise started in the France, then later on in the different parts of the Europe. So we will going to deal in this chapter. This chapter is vast, so we'll deals with the France, we will deals with the Italy, we deals with the Germany. So all this chapter we are going to cover in this. This is the first segment of this video. In the later segment of the video we are going to discuss in this. So before starting this chapter, like what points we have to cover in this chapter, that the French Revolution and the idea of the nation, and the second one, the making of nationalism in the Europe. So like how the people over a period of time, they want to change they want to see the changes in their country, they want to see the nationalism in the country, they want the country as a republic. Then they want to think that each and every people should be equal, they should not be like you can say the differentiate from each other. So these are all the points which we are going to deal with in this chapter. So how you are going to deal with it now, what are the points we have to learn in this. So this all the points. Now we go towards the you can say the ninth standard. If you recall it, like the French Revolution started, that like if you recall it, that the first one is said that the king has given the order to the king had given the order to the troops, or you can say the army, that you can go in the Paris, in front of the town hall, and you can kill all the citizen over there. So they spread the rumor all over there in the Paris. So number of the citizens come together, both male and female, in front of the town hall in the Paris, and they used to destroy all the buildings and the you can say the government buildings and the architecture. Then what they used to do, that they took the stones, or you can say the rocks of the Versailles, which they destroyed. So they used to sell it in the market, and some of the people used to kept it at their home as the consensus. So these are all the things which we have started with and ended with that the Napoleon was defeated in the Waterloo. So this is the end of the chapter. If you talk, if you recall the class 9. So now in this chapter, we will going to. I just give you the brief view. Now in this chapter, we are going to deals with the in the detail. So starts with the first page of this chapter, that is the European. So you can see the figure first, the rise of nationalism in Europe. You can see the figure, how the people used to battle over there. The dream of the worldwide democratic and the social republic, the pact with the nation, a print prepared by the Friedrich Sorio, 1848. This is a picture where they start for the nationalism. They want their country to be as the republic. So in 1948, Frédéric Story, a French artist, prepared a series of four prints visualizing his dream of a world made of a democratic and a social republic, as he called them. The first print of the series shows the people of Europe and America, man and woman of all the ages and the social classes, marching in a long train and offering the homage to the Statue of Liberty has passed by it. And now thinking whether the Statue of Liberty is in the America nowadays because it was gifted by the France to the America. As you would recall, the artists of the time, the French Revolution personified the liberty as a female figure. Then here you can recognize the torch of enlightenment. She bears the one hand. Yes, you have the idea what the Statue of Liberty that the one torch they used to take in the hand and used for the enlightenment. She bears on the one hand and charters of the right of the man in the other. On the earth is the foreground of that image lies the shattered remains of the symbol of the absolutist. Now think about the absolute literally meaning a government or system of the rule that has no restraint on the power exercise. In a history, the term refers to the form of monarchical government that has centralized militarized and repressive. So in this case, the rule you can't say that I have all the powers which exercised by the government. This power is divided into different peoples. You can say the monarchic government, and that was the centralized, militarized, and the repressive. So in the Sorio Utopia vision, the people of the world are grouped as the distinct nation. Now they are grouped as the distinct nation, identified through the flag and the national consume. Leading the procession way past the Statue of Liberty and the United States of America, United States and the Switzerland, which by the time were already the nation state. And like because they used to get the independence from the Britain, so like before the France, this country become the independent. They have their own nation. If we talk about the United Nations and the Switzerland, which by the time we are early known as the states, then we talk about the France. France, identified by the revolutionary tricolor, he just reached the statue and she is followed by the peoples of Germany bearing the black, red and the gold flag. Now what they used to wear, which one the flag, that is the black, red and the gold flag. Interestingly, at the times when Sorio created this image, the German people did not yet excite a United Nation. Look, so they are not in the favor, or you can say they are not excited with the, you can say exist with the United Nations. So the flag they carry is an expression of liberal hopes in 1848 to unify the numerous German-speaking principality into the nation state under the democratic constitution. Following the German people are the people of Austria, the kingdom of two Sicilies, Lombardy, Poland, England, Ireland, and the Hungary and the Russia. So these are the countries which used to come under because it is ruled by the king. So they are used to come under the kingdom. From the heavens above, the Christ sends, and the angel gazed upon the scene because they were described in the picture which we have shown on this first page. So they used to give the description of this picture because this is the Jesus Christ, and downside there are the people of the different countries. They have been used by the artists also to symbolize fraternity among the nation of the world. The chapter deals with the many of the issues visualized the Soryu, the figure 1. During the 19th century, nationalism emerged as the force which brought about the sweeping changes in the political the metal world of the Europe. The end result of these changes was the emergence of the nation state in the place of multinational dynamic empire of the Europe. Now the end result of these changes was the emergence of the nation state in the place of multinational dynamic empires of the Europe. The concept and the practice of the modern state in which centralized power exercise. Now the central power exercise, which one? The sovereign. If you recall it, you have read in the class 8 in the Indian constitution what the sovereign means. The control over a clearly defined territory, like whatever the territory you have. So you have the sovereign at the particular territory. If we talk about our India, had been developing over a long period of time in the Europe. It used to take a longer period of time in Europe. So like to be as a sovereign. But a nation state was one in which the majority of the citizen and not only its ruler came to develop a sense of a common identity. So they don't have the sense of the common identity. Some share the history of their descent. The common sense did not exist from the time immemorial. It was forced through the struggles, through the actions of leaders and the common people. In this chapter, what we come to know, the process with the nation state and the nationalism came into being in the 19th century. So in the 19th century, first it started with, like if we talk about the French, it started with the, you can say, the late 18th century and the beginning of the 19th century, when they started the nationalism that we want our country as to be republic. Starts with the France, then the Germany, then the Italy, then all the countries we come to know in the detail what kind of revolution they did, what kind of reforms they started, and what changes that is in their country. So first we start with the French Revolution and the deals with and the ideas of the nation. So the first clear expression of nationalism came with the French Revolution in 1789, which I already said you that in the late 18th century. France, as you would remember, was a full-fledged territorial state in 1789 under the rule of absolute monarch. Because earlier it was ruled by the monarch only, or you can say the king or the royal people. The political and the constitutional changes that came into the wake of the French Revolution led to the transfer of the sovereignty from the monarch to a body of the French citizen. The revolution proclaimed that it was the people who would henceforth constitute the nation shape its destiny. Now, what they can do that the revolution proclaimed that it was the people who would henceforth constitute the nation and shape its destiny. So the cover of the German albums designed the journalist Andres Rebum in the 1798. So this was the made by the journalist, which was referred over there. The image of French Bastille being stormed by the revolutionaries, which I already explained in the starting of this lecture, that how they used to destroy this Bastille. The revolutionary crowd has been placed next to the similar fortress meant to represent the bastion of despotic rule by the German province of Kassel. Accompanying the illustration is the slogan, "The people must seize their own freedom." Ribbon lived in the city of Mainz and was the member of German Jacobean group. From the very beginning, the French Revolution introduced the various major factors that could create the sense of collective identity amongst the French people. The ideas of Le Patrie, the fatherland, and the Le Citoyen, the citizen, emphasize the notion of a united community enjoying the equal rights under the Constitution. Now they are enjoying the equal rights under the Constitution. A new French flag, the tricolor, was chosen to replace the former royal standard. The Estate General was elected by the body of the active citizen, renamed the National Assembly. New hymns were composed. Now you are thinking what the hymns is. Now the mantra they have composes oaths taken, mantras commemorated, and in the name of the nation. So they like making the new hymns, new anthems, new slogans, and the new oaths and the marriage commemorated in the name of the nation. So all these things they used to base on the nations. A centralized administrative system was put into place and it formulated uniform law for all the citizens. Now they used to put a new administrative system, a uniform administrative system was in the place to formulate a uniformity. Well, what they think want to see is that all the things used to go in a perfect way. Then inter-custom dues are abolished and a uniform system of weight and measure were adopted. Not earlier, the people used to use the weight according to their, you can say the whatever the weight they have. When the Napoleon used to come, he started using the measuring of using the decimal measurement, by which whatever the weight is there, so actual measure or you can say the actual value, they come to know that what kind of measurement or what kind of weight you have taken, especially in the decimals. Then we go further that the regional delegates were discouraged in the France and it was spoken and written in the Paris become the common language of the nation. Now the most of the people used to speak in the French, so they make their common language as the French. So number of the people used to interact, used to communicate in the French language only. The revolution further declared that it was the mission that the destiny of the French nation to liberate the people of the Europe from the despotism. Now what they want to do is that They want to liberate the people of the different parts of the Europe. That doesn't mean all the people have to come under the, you can say, in the conquerorship or the dictatorship. Now they have to become as a liberal, or in the, you can, or the other words you can say in the liberty. So in the other words, helps the people to Europe to become a nation. When the news of the events in the France into different cities of the Europe, students and other members of the educated middle class being setting up the Jacobean clubs. Now those who are the middle class, those are the educated, they start making the Jacobean clubs. This activities and campaign prepared the way the French armies which moved into the Holland, Belgium, Switzerland, and much of the Italy in the 1790s. With the outbreak of revolutionary wars, the French army began to carry the idea of nationalism abroad. Now, the French has carried the nationalism in all over the parts of the Europe. Now, you can see this the Europe after the Congress winning. That is, this is the map of 1815. Now, you can see all over here the Russian Empire, which is in common at the Asian continent. So start from this, the Denmark, the you can see this map, the Norway, Sweden, Denmark, then the harbor, Prussia, Poland, Austrian Empire, then the Barbarian, France, Switzerland, Spain, Portugal, small state, the kingdom of the two Seleucids, Croatia, Sardinia, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco. So these are the part like the this is the middle part you can say this is the Europe where you can find the Switzerland, you can find the Russia, sorry, not of Russia, you can find the Spain, you can find the Germany. Russia is in the Asia continent, and this is the Europe where you find the different countries. Within the white sweat of the terror that come under his control, the Napoleon set about introducing many reforms that he had already introduced in the France. Now the Napoleon when he used to come in the France, he introduced many of the, you can say, the ideas to make the country as a liberal and to modernize the people, that you have to use the modern techniques like how the world is going on. Through the return of the monarchy, Napoleon had no doubt destroyed the democracy in France, because if we read about the after the Louis XVI, so in the time of the Louis XVI, the nationalism started by the Raspberry when the Jacobean government used to come. That time also there is a democracy. When the Napoleon used to come, he destroyed the, you can say, he started again the monarchy. You know, he wanted to conquer all the France, and he destroyed what the democracy is over there. So he started that through the return of monarchy, Napoleon had no doubt destroyed the democracy in France, but in the administrative field, he has incorporated revolutionary principle in order to make the war system more rational and efficient. He used to conquer whole the France, but he made the rule like what kind of rule they made? Incorporated revolutionary principle in order to make the war system into the rational and the efficient. The Civil Code of 1804, usually known as the Napoleon Code, did away with the privileges based on the birth, established the equality before the law, and secured the right of the property. Like what he wants to do, that the person who owns the property, he has the right, he can look after his property. It's not a duty of the, it can seen by the royal peoples. So this is the code was explored to the region under the France control, the Dutch Republic, in the Switzerland, in Italy, and the German. Napoleon simplified the administrative division, abolished the feudal system, and freed the prison for the serfdom and the manorial Jews. In the towns too, guild rank system were removed, transport and the communication system were removed, peasant, artisan, worker, and the new businessman enjoyed a newfound freedom. Businessmen and small-scale produce of goods in particular began to realize that the uniform laws, standardized weight and the measure, and the common national currency would facilitate the movement and exchange the good of capital from one region to the other. So in this case, what we can see that the businessmen, the small-scale people, or you can say the peasant, goods particularly they began to sell it in the uniform laws, under the uniform laws, standardize the weight, which I already explained. Earlier they used the weight, which is not give the perfect, you can say the weight or the measurement. So they use the decimal system and the measures. A common national currency would facilitate. Earlier the people, if we talk about the French, the livre currency they use. After that they used to change the currency and facilitate the movement, the exchange of goods and the capitals from the one region to the another. Now you can see this figure first. The figure 4, the planting of trees liberty in Zürichbruck in Germany. The subject of this color print by the German painter Karl Caspar Fritz is the occupation of the town by the French armies. The French soldiers recognized by their blue, white, and the red uniforms because there is the national flag. They are also having this blue, white color, blue, white, and red color. So have portrayed as the oppressions as they seize a peasant cart, and they used to seize, and they used to stop the cart of the peasant. Harass some of the young women. You can see them centered by how they are harassing the woman and force a peasant down to his knees. Now they expel the number of the peasant to bow down on your knees. Then this flag began to affix on to the trees of the liberty, carries a German inscriptions, which in a translation read, "Take a freedom and equality from us, the model of the humanity." This sacrifice reference to the claim of the French as the being liberates who opposed the monarchy in the territories they entered. Enjoy a new freedom. Businessmen and the small, which we have already discussed, how they used to exploit this particular people. However, in the areas conquered, the reaction of the local population of the France ruled mixed. Initially, in many places such as the Holland, Switzerland, as well as in the certain cities like the Brussels, Mainz, Milan, Warsaw, and the French armies were welcomed as the harbingers of liberty. They used to welcome this French armies because they want the nationalism in their own country. But the initial enthusiasm soon turned to be hostility. Now, what they thought that when the French army used to came in our country, they used to become a hostage. It means they used to capture the people and they don't allow the people to move freely. It has become clear that the new administrative arrangement did not go hand in hand with the political freedom. Increase the taxation, now they increase the taxation, censorship, force the conscriptions in the French army required to conquer the rest of the Europe, all serves to of the outweigh the advantage of the administrative changes. Now what they do is earlier they were using the, you can say, the old regime. After that when the in the French, when they saw that the nationalism started, they used to change the administrative system in their own country to what they want is the uniformity. Now you can see the figure 5. This is particular soldier. How is having this particular arm? This the courier of the Rehan loses all his way to the home for the Leipzig. This particular man who carried lots of the courier, you can say the post, to give into his country. So how he used to left all over this letter. The Napoleon here is the present. Now he is a Napoleon, represent as the postman on his way to back to the France after he lost the Battle of Leipzig in 1813. Each letter dropping out of his back bears the name of territories he lost. Earlier, he wants to, what he wants, like what the Napoleon wants, he want to conquer the number of the countries, or you can say the number of the parts of the Europe. But later, when he was defeated, where in this picture, what it shows that where Napoleon as a postman, and he used to defeat in the numerous part of the country. So this is where you can say the courier man or the postman. Now come towards the next, the making of the nationalism in Europe. How the nationalism has started in the Europe. This one we are going to discuss in this segment in brief. In the next section, we are going to discuss it in the detail. First, you can see this important date. So it starts from 1797 till the 1905 that the Napoleon invaded in Italy. Napoleon was begun. Then 1815 to 1815, fall of Napoleon and the Vienna peace settlement. Then 1821, Greek struggle for the independence begins. 1848, the revolution in Europe, artisan, industrialist, worker, peasant revolt against the economic hardship. Middle classes demand the constitution and the representative government. Italian, German, Bulgarians, Poles, that is Czech Republic, demand the nation state. 1859 to 1870, unification of Italy. Then the 1866 to 1871, unification of Germany, where the earlier it was divided. Then the 1905 or the 1905, slave nationalism gathered force in the Habsburg and the Ottoman Empire. This all these you can see the year in which the which are the countries earlier they were the divided, now they are in the unification, or you can say in the unity. So if you look at the map of the mid 18th century, which I have already seen, you will find that there were no nation state to be known as them as today. Yes, earlier there were no nation states. Earlier they were divided. So when you know today the Germany, Italy, and Switzerland were divided into the kingdoms. Yes, earlier it was divided into different kingdoms. Now it is united. If we talk about the Germany, if we talk about the Italy, if we talk about the Switzerland. Kingdoms, duchies, were they divided into the kingdom, duchies, the cantons, whose rule of the autonomous territories. Those who have the territory, they have their autonomy power over there. Eastern and Central Europe were under the autocracy monarchies within the territory of which lived a diverse people. They did not see themselves as sharing a collective identity or the common culture. Often they even spoke the different language and belonged to a different ethnic group. The Habsburg Empire that ruled over Austria-Hungary, for example, was a patchwork of many different regions and the people. It includes the Alpine regions, the Tyrol, Australia, and the Sudetenland, as well as the Bohemia, where the aristocracy was predominantly German-speaking. It also includes the Italian-speaking province. Now, here, from the different parts of you can see the different parts of the particular country. I'm using the word because earlier this country are not united. Earlier they was divided. So these are the places where the people used to speak the different languages. Like if we talk about the Alpine region, the Tyrol, the Austria and the Sudetenland as well as the Bohemia, where the aristocracy was predominantly German speaking. Now, most of the people used to speak the German rather than the other languages. It also include the Italian speaking. Now, the first one they used to speak mostly the German. Second one the Italian. Province of the Lombardy and the Venetia. The Hungary half of the population spoke the Magyar, while the other half spoke a variety of uh, delicate. In the Galicia, the aristocracy spoke the Polish the language of the Poland. Besides that, there is the three dominant group. They also lived within the boundaries of the empire. As the mass subjects, peasant people, Bohemia, Slovaks of the north, and Slovakia in the Carnolia, Croats of the south, that is from the Croatia, and the Romans to the east of Transylvania. Such the difference did not easily promote a sense of political unity. Now, in this session, what we have cover over there, like how the nationalism is started from the France, how the Napoleon you have the idea what he wants to do that he want to conquer the different parts of the Europe. So wherever he went, so number of the you can say he was defeated in number of the places. Then he came back to the France, in which if we talk about the unification of the Euro. So how the countries are earlier divided. Now we are seeing that today as them the united. Earlier it was divided in different kingdoms. You can say and the cartons in which the people used to speak the different languages. Like if we talk about they talked about different places over here from the Croatia, from the Croatia they're talking about, from the migrant they're talking about, from the Venezuela and Lombardy they talk about. The most of the people first they used to speak the German, then the Italian, and their different languages. So it is very much difficult to make them the united in the political unity. But it was very much difficult because the people at that time they used to give the preference to the people who are in the majority rather than the people who are in the minority, because they thought that if the particular region if the most of the people used to speak the German or the Italy or you can say the France, so they wanted their country as their you can say their own kingdom or their own territory as the best one, because if the most of the people if they used to speak the German, so that particular place used to be said as their most important part of their country, or you can say give the utmost importance to that particular place. So there are like kind of the challenge, or you can say the kind of the difficulty, how the vast country they have to make the particular place which is divided into different kingdoms, and how do they have to make the united. So all this problem they have to deal with that, how they can make this different kind of, if we talk about the German, if we talk about Italy, if we talk about the Switzerland and other parts of the Europe, how they become the united. So the number of the countries, most of the fascinated with the France, how the in the France the revolution has started, how the people become the united. So all these things which we have seen so far in this chapter. For the next topic which we were left, we are going to see in the next segment of this video. So you have to keep this in mind. The nationalism is started in the Europe, starts from the France. then later on the different of the countries, and after that the Napoleon used to come over here and what he wants to conquer the different parts of the Europe, but he is not going to succeed in this. So I hope you like this video. Thank you.